gifted educators, and team members strive to provide our students with a rich, affirming, inspiring, and authentically Catholic learning experience. It's one of the reasons why Edmonton Catholic School Division ranks as one of the best divisions in the province of Alberta and countrywide. And of course, St. Mary contributes heavily to our success. At St. Mary, the breadth and depth of programming, the extensive opportunities, and perhaps equally important, the quality of relationships, ignite and fuel a passion, a zest for learning, lifelong learning in fact, and it stirs students well as they discover and develop their God-given talents. I hope you have an extraordinary experience at tonight's open house, and I look forward to welcoming you into the St. Mary family. All the best. Thank you. Let us pray. Parents and prospective students,
Lisa Turchansky has also prepared the treaty acknowledgement for us.
and now for our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are in the traditional land of Treaty 6 and home of Métis Nation of Alberta Region 4. We also acknowledge the Inuit and other diverse Indigenous peoples whose ancestors have marked this territory for centuries, a place that has welcomed many peoples from around the world to make their home here. We at Edmonton Catholic Schools commit to restoring and honoring the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action. We strongly believe that truth must be acknowledged to move forward to reconciliation. Together, we call upon our collective communities to build a stronger understanding of all peoples who dwell in this land we call home. And now,
So I just want to let you know what our agenda is for this evening. We have a short meeting prepared. We will share our ECS division video, which is just a few minutes, and then I'll take you on a school tour. We'll have a formal presentation from Mrs. Amendola, who will share about the kindergarten program at St. Mary, and then we'll have a question and answer period for you. And so we'll get started right away with our ECSD video.
Edmonton Catholic Schools, bringing Catholic education to life. In addition to our excellent community schools, we are proud to offer programming in pre-kindergarten, advanced placement, French immersion, Spanish bilingual, IB, and more. We welcome all students. Check out one of our virtual open house events. Register online today.
Hi, welcome to St. Mary Catholic Elementary School. I'm Christine Vince and I'm the principal. Come and join me for a school tour. St. Mary's School is a place where every child shines bright. Our division theme this year is God Calls Us by Name. At our school, we recognize that everyone has unique gifts and talents that they bring to our school family. Our physical plant is constructed in the shape of a cross. The skylights in our learning commons fill the space with natural light. On beautiful sunny days, the blue sky above us reminds us that we are always safely tucked under Mother Mary's mantle. This space is home to our extensive library collection, the evolving makerspace, and alternate learning spaces for students. At St. Mary, we are intentional in providing opportunities for students to develop the competencies of critical thinking, communication, problem solving, collaboration, creativity and innovation, managing information, cultural and global citizenship, and personal growth and well-being. With the support of our active parent council, we are fortunate to have Chromebooks and iPads for students to use as tools for these critical 21st century competencies. In our commons, we have the prayer grotto, our chapel space. The foundation for all experiences at our school take place in a Christ-centered environment where our Catholic faith is celebrated. We are also so fortunate to have our parish church, St. Thomas More, located just within walking distance from our school, which affords us the opportunity to bring students to the church for Mass.
And jump up and down.
Our school has a beautiful music room where students are exposed to a variety of musical instruments, including handbells, drums, Orff instruments, and much more. Students also have the opportunity to join a choir. Traditionally, St. Mary's presents an exceptional Christmas concert. St. Mary's School has a large gymnasium to support our well-rounded physical literacy programs.
Go!
We have intramurals, extracurricular programs such as volleyball and running club. At St. Mary, we have a rich kindergarten program that is intentional. It's responsive to children's needs and development. We follow the Alberta Program of Studies and bring concepts to life through playful learning as we nurture children to inquire, discover, create, and make meaningful connections to the world. The design of the learning environment supports critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Our kindergarten program sets the stage for children's lifelong love of reading and writing. Students are actively engaged in acquiring language and constructing their own understandings of how language works. Students participate in shared listening, reading, and viewing experiences using books, fairy tales, rhymes, stories, photographs, illustrations, and videos. They share their stories using rhymes, rhythms, symbols, pictures, and drama to celebrate their accomplishments. Children draw and record and tell about their own ideas and experiences. They read their own names, as well as some words that have personal significance. They form recognizable letters, print, and explore and experiment with new words and terms. In mathematics, students develop number sense and reasoning through a variety of positive experiences that are connected to their own lives. This important foundation prepares them for later success in math. Our classrooms are welcoming and calm spaces where the environment is specifically created to foster a sense of belonging and community. St. Mary is known for developing students' artistic talents and showcasing their beautiful creations. We see these talents grow through to grade 6. In all grades, we focus on developing the whole child and preparing them for a successful future. We are so fortunate to have the YMCA Daycare Center right in our building. The center offers before and after school care, along with KinderCare, which is right across the hall from our kindergarten program. This partnership between our school and YMCA allows consistency and convenience for our families. St. Mary's School is a school where relational work is clearly visible. Students, teachers, parents, and administrators are active learners, working in relationship with one another to explore new thinking, positive change, innovation in teaching and learning.
Thank you for joining us on our school tour. Registration is now open. You can register online on our school website or give us a call at the office. We hope to see you next year.
Thanks for joining me on our school tour. And we'll go through our formal presentation now. Mrs. Schipper will be monitoring our chat, so if you have some questions, you can type them in there and we'll do our best to answer them at the end. Okay, so a little bit about our school. Our school is kindergarten to grade 6. We have approximately 300 students. We're located in Riverbank Community, and we serve the neighborhoods of Brander Gardens, Brookside, Ramsey Heights, Radigan Ridge, Falconer Heights, Henderson Estates, and Haddo. And of course, you know, we usually try to direct families to their catchment school, but special circumstances can be considered. Certainly, we would consider applications from outside of the area as well. Last year, the Parent Council put in a new playground, and so we're very proud of this playground. Kids love it, and here is Father having some fun at our open house our playground grand opening, and he thought he would test out the slide for us before the kids got a chance. So. Our outdoor space is quite beautiful, and we have a Mary garden. It's enclosed, so it's a really nice space for especially the kindergartens to go out and explore. I know Mrs. Amendola takes them out for letter hunts. Even our older grades go out and do different special activities in the garden. So it really is a beautiful space where students can create and explore and work on that spiritual element as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Amendola, who can share about our wonderful world of kindergarten.
All right, thank you for joining. My name is Joanna Amendola, and I'm the kindergarten teacher here. I've been at St. Mary's for 3 years. I came over when the program, kindergarten and grade 1, came from St. Monica. I've been teaching in Edmonton Catholic for 17 years, and most of those years have been in kindergarten. I am a mother of 2 children. I have a son who's 15, a daughter who's 13. And, you know, I'm very blessed to say that I love my job. I get up every day and I'm like, I'm going to work. I'm so happy. What do I love about kindergarten? I love everything, but I think more specifically, I love that I fall in love with these little ones. You know, we get them at 5 years old and they come into our classroom and they are so excited to be here to learn, to be their first experience on their educational journey in kindergarten is really special. And to see a 1 year's growth, like to have little ones come in the first couple of days in September and, you know, sort of don't know what to do, where to go. And then, you know, by the end of kindergarten, I can see the growth. They're so ready. They're independent. It's a wonderful experience to be part of this. My philosophy is I'm going to identify your children's strengths in kindergarten. I'm going to help support them and help them grow. I'm going to encourage them to be the best that they can be and try their very hardest. I think all children come in at different levels. You know, some children are really strong at letter sounds, recognizing alphabets, and other children come in reading. And then there's other children who are great communicators. They're great at drawing and building and Lego. And so we see those strengths and we really build on those. You can switch to the next slide, Mrs. Vince. So if you have any questions about the curriculum, our outcomes, you can go to Alberta's education website and kindergarten curriculum, Alberta Education, and there's documents there that you can follow along. And if you have any questions, that's always there and available for you. Next slide. Personal and social responsibility. I think kindergarten is unique in that we have our own curriculum and outcomes. We really focus on what's developmentally appropriate for our little ones. All of our activities are targeted. We try to develop some real foundational skills in kindergarten. It's hands-on learning. It's a good balance of structured play and targeted instructions. Children are curious. That's what's so wonderful about them, and that's the key at this age. They tend to ask lots of questions, and they really like to experiment in their play. So I think my job is to show them how to be engaged and then take them further with their inquiries and investigations. Next slide. This is our team. This picture was taken last year. Every year looks very different. I've been so blessed. This year I have an educational assistant, Mrs. Cartmel. I also have an afternoon TASL, a speech and language assistant, and we're a wonderful team. We work well together. Our program, like all kindergarten programs, have a multidisciplinary team, MDT, and these are specialists who come into our classroom. They provide supports for teachers, they provide support for our assistants, and of course our students. They help us program for your child. And examples of this are speech and language therapists, occupational therapists, behavior psychologists. So just depending on what the needs are, we are able to have these specialists visit. The next slide, please. I think discovery time or center time is really key in kindergarten because children need to play, and it's really engaging play. So when we talk about centers, children will have literacy bins. We'll start off our morning where the children come in, they'll do an activity, and then, you know, they're working on a puzzle, and that's part of our center time discovery time. And in these centers, we have all of our identified outcomes. Children will learn with hands-on. We focus on oral language, key concepts, phonological awareness. In our math program, we have the 4 strands we focus on: numbers, shape and space, measurement, patterns, and relations. And you can see in these pictures, some of these pictures of the children are a couple of years ago, so if they don't have a mask on, it was before COVID. But in the first one, the Play-Doh, the children are actually learning to pattern. They're looking at common attributes. The little boy stacking the cups. This is counting, one-to-one correspondence. When we have the tree there, the rolling the dice, we're adding numbers, talking about making more, making less, subitizing. Our water table turns into a math and science. We're talking about floating and sinking. You know, can you pour 2 cups of water? Take one away. Is it full or empty? So the environment is very rich. So play has a purpose. Next slide, please. We do have a formal printing program that we use here at St. Mary's, Handwriting Without Tears, which is based on occupational therapist programs. They highly recommend it. We don't just start with pencils in the beginning of the year. We're building our fine motor skills. So the children will learn how to rip and tear paper. We're cutting straws. We're working with plasticine and Play-Doh to help build our finger strength for the children. So that's where we talk about the foundation of our program. We don't just jump into writing and sentences. We need to show the children you know, how to hold a pencil, the proper grasp. We sing songs about this. We have visuals that we share with the children. And then after, I would say the first 6 weeks, we're ready to use our crayons and our pencils. A lot of the foundation too is, you know, we start off with our names. All the children come in and we talk about starting from left to right, knowing the beginning, the middle, the end. And my program's structured that way, that we talk about, you know, the words and the letters, and we read from left to right. So it's a real foundation. We don't just jump into many concepts. We also have in my program the letter of the week. So every week we focus on a letter, and that starts off with a letter hunt. So we are looking for the letters in our classroom, outside in our learning commons. We're identifying words, beginning letters, in our name, our last names, our friends' names. Then we focus on what uppercase and lowercase, how they look the same and different, what sounds those are. And we also link it with the Jolly Phonics. So every letter has a sound. And, you know, these are just different methods for children to memorize the letter sounds. We work on making letters in the air, our finger strength. So we're printing them first, and then we transfer over to paper and pencil. So it's a slow progression. We also have a Heggerty program that we have been using, and this focuses on phonological awareness, letter sounds, blends of words, segmenting syllables, rhyming words, isolating sounds. And so this is about a 10-15 minute lesson every day. The children are engaged, we are working together, hearing sounds, and also transfers to paper later on. We do daily nursery rhymes. We start our journals right away, but we are drawing pictures, we are identifying letter sounds, we are labeling our journals, and it's just a well-balanced program. Next slide, Mrs. Vince. Our literacy and math centers we are focusing on concepts of print from the very beginning. We're teaching children how to read their own name. We get excited and we say, you're a reader because you can read your own name. Then we start to read our friends' names. We learn letter sounds. We learn that print holds meaning. We have a formal home reading program that we've just started in January. So we've started, the children get a home reading book, and inside there's information for parents, you know, how to start reading from left to right, tracking with their fingers, using the pictures to help you identify some of the words. So there's a lot of communication, and I think it's really an important part that parents know exactly what's happening in the classroom. And of course, you're the extension of the learning from the school. We also have RAS Kids available to our children in our program. For numeracy, from the moment we arrive at school, we start talking about numeracy, like how many students are here today? Are there fewer or less than more? We put it into a 10 frame. Patterning. Patterning is something we do all throughout the day. Not only do we learn patterns, make patterns, let's line up and make a pattern. Let's do boy, boy, girl. So through our centers and our literacy, this is from the moment we arrive at school to the last few minutes before the end of the day. Next slide, Mrs. Vince. So that was the literacy we're talking about. The children here are engaged. We're doing lessons daily with the Heggerty, the concepts of print books. We are now starting to read our books. Oh, my camera's dropping, sorry. Okay, next slide, Mrs. Vince. Kind of talked about that already. You can see in this picture here, that was a pattern day. How can you spot my pattern? We're making patterns with beads, with, you know, all different kinds of items that we have in our classroom, snowflakes. A lot of focus practice. Next slide, Mrs. Vince. Our centers change every couple of weeks. These are some centers that we did in October, and we started off with the children being able to draw pictures, and this went into our story writing. So the first one is showing that the children are learning to draw pictures, they're adding more details, they're adding their characters. We're learning to retell our stories, look at the pictures, and use extensive vocabulary. We start to talk about characters, what's happening in the beginning, the middle, and the end of our stories. There's always a purpose to our play. The themes change throughout the year, so there's Christmas and drawing, water play, fine motor. We were using pumpkins at Halloween time, and we were hammering into the pumpkins. Next slide, Mrs. Vince.
Candy cane has a pattern.
Technology. We're fortunate to have iPads in our classroom. This picture was taken a few years ago. There's no masks on the children, but they're using the iPads for a wonderful app called Letter School. I highly recommend it. Parents will sometimes ask me, what can I do to get my child ready? This is a wonderful app that teaches children how to form their letters correctly. It goes hand in hand with our printing program. So Letter School is what it's called. In the older grades, the children do have iPads and Chromebooks. And by the end of kindergarten, the children are logging into Chromebooks, and they're also using our Google Classroom that we have set up for kindergarten and all the other grades. Next slide. Kindergarten is unique in that our subjects are integrated. We never say, okay, we're just doing social right now, or we're doing religion. Projects that we do, one of these is a social studies project we did, which was citizenship and identity. It covers part of our religion program, and it gives students that opportunity to present and share. So this project was really nice in the sense that it was able to have children share their traditions, like what do I do at Christmas time? What do birthdays look like for me? Why am I special? What kinds of things do my family do? So these kinds of projects are really nice to do that integrate all subject areas. Next slide, please. Our snack program, we spend about 15 minutes daily having a snack as a whole group. This gives us a break from our masks now. We just encourage healthy snacks, peanut free. It's even a great learning opportunity. We enjoy those, 15 minutes where we're able to talk about letters. So for example, if we're doing the letter G, let's look and see who has a granola bar or grape, something that starts with the letter G. We always take the opportunity to incorporate our theme or our special letter. Great time to talk about shapes, our packages, what do they come in? Well, I see you have a square for your cookie or your Tupperware container. What shape is that? I see circles. So I even invite you when you're sitting down, eating with your child, in the car with them, just always engaging them in that kind of talk where, they're learning different concepts and there's lots of dialogue between you. We count our snacks. We can graph our snacks, just taking those opportunities. Next slide, please. Our library program, we have a designated day that we go once a week, but as you could see from the tour video, we have a beautiful learning commons space. It's used not only for us, but for all the other grades. I've seen children working in there, small groups, bigger projects independently. We're using that space very safely during the COVID, but it is nice to have that space. And outside of our classroom, we also have our centers set up in the hallway as well. Next slide, please. Parent helpers have always been welcome. Things have changed because of COVID, but we're hoping to get back to that one day soon. In my program in the past, I've always had parent volunteers. I send home a monthly calendar and parents are more than welcome to come in once a week if they can, or once a month, whatever their schedule allows. They can be a part of our classroom. They can play games with the children, card games, rolling dice, doing some prep work for the teachers just to help out with things. And it's just a great opportunity for you to see what your child is doing a day in the life of kindergarten. Just with COVID, now we haven't had the opportunity to have parents come in, but we're not sure when that will change, but that has always been a really important part of my program. Next slide, please. Our community building days. Well, these are such special days and events that are planned at our school. They're celebrated all throughout the year. These were taken last year. We've had Halloween parties, pajama day, superhero day, pancake breakfast, Valentine's, Christmas, just to name a few. And our school is so wonderful at having also theme days. The children really look forward to that as well. Jersey Day. Yeah, those are really fun activities for the children, and they look different every year, which has been wonderful. Next slide. So before Mrs. Vince talks about her social justice, I just wanted to address the question. People will always ask, well, how can I get my child ready for kindergarten? And I think my advice would be, watching the video. And if you know of somebody who is not able to watch tonight, just giving the information to watch our tour. And just, talk about what is going to happen with your child. Have your child watch the video and discuss things like, what do you think looks really fun about that? What are you excited for in kindergarten? Another thing also is starting to use some learning tools at home. I know some parents think, well, we don't really play with scissors, or we don't have scissors for little ones, but give them a pair of scissors and let them do fun things like cutting up straws or card paper where it's a little bit thicker and easy for them. Taking paper and just ripping it. Play-Doh or plasticine, working with it, making shapes or first letters of your name or letters in your name. That's really helpful as well. Another thing too is, as busy as parents are, any activities you're going to, driving in the car, pointing out letters and shapes and numbers, what sound does that make? Nursery rhyme, playing rhyming games. At home, if you have time on the weekends, playing board games with your children, card games, any of those kinds of things are very helpful for children. And of course, reading books, talking about concepts of print with the children. Reading a book and saying, this is the title of the book, or look at the specific word at the bottom, look at the sentence, look at the punctuation marks, starting to talk about these things, introducing it to your child. You're reading a book about the farm and you could just say, well, look at this. This is the farm. This is the setting of the story. Look at the animals. These are characters that are in the story. So really making it a rich environment for your child. I know it's a hard decision to pick your new kindergarten and also the school that you'll be at for the next 6 years. So I just want to invite you to, come visit the school, make a virtual tour, maybe close to the end, or sorry, not a virtual tour, but come and visit closer to the end of June. I would love to meet you and your child. I think just asking questions to the teacher and you'll know if it feels right. I really hope that you'll come and join our St. Mary's School family. I'm very blessed to be here. It's one of the best schools I've worked at. The admin team is wonderful. All the teachers are dedicated professionals and very knowledgeable. So I hope that you choose to come to St. Mary's and be part of our St. Mary family. Thank you. And please feel free to email me, call the school. I'm available for any questions. I know it's a very big decision to pick the school, your elementary school, and to send your little ones into a new environment. So please know that I'm very excited to meet them all and to meet all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mrs. Amendola. And Mrs. Shipper and I did not pay her to say nice things about us. Okay, thank you so much for sharing all about your kindergarten program. It really is amazing, and we are fortunate to have her here as well. She's magnetic. The kids love her, and she didn't pay me to say that.
Thank you.
We do want to share that we do quite a few social justice initiatives at our school, and typically what we try to do is have the students come up with the ideas. And we do have leadership teams in our school, and they will go around and talk to other students, and we really find that they have a sense of ownership and they are more involved and engaged if it comes from their own ideas. So that is something else that we do here at St. Mary. And of course, our Catholic faith is at the center of everything we do, as Mrs. Amendola mentioned and you saw in our tour. So just before I go on about registration and questions, I did want to share a few more things about our school and just some of the programs that we have. We really do try to focus on 21st century learning skills. And, this year we got involved in coding, and the whole school was coding, and I learned how to code. For the first time, the kids taught me, I had them teach me how to do it. So, we have student leadership opportunities. We have a variety of different clubs at St. Mary, and during COVID, unfortunately, some of the clubs haven't, that extracurricular, we haven't been running them, like volleyball, for instance. But we have traditionally in the past had art clubs, choir, dance, gardening, intramurals. We have students participating in junior ATV. We've had knitting clubs, Lego clubs. We have math club, running room, soccer, table hockey is really popular, and like I mentioned, volleyball, just to name a few. And so I wanted to bring your attention to our school website, and so you've already been there to find the link to this open house. But also in the chat, I'm just going to put the link to a kindergarten video if you're interested. It's the Edmonton Catholic Schools kindergarten video, and they share more of the details about kindergarten. However, I think Mrs. Amendola did a pretty good job tonight, so it might be a repeat for you, but it's always nice to know about the consistency. Edmonton Catholic Schools tries to be as consistent as possible with their programming, and I think that you would find that Mrs. Amendola's is very similar to the presentation they gave. So I'll just try to put that in the chat here. I'll throw it in after once we start the questions. And that is the end of our presentation. And so feel free to put your questions in the chat, and one of us will answer them for you. And if anyone has a question that they're not comfortable sharing in the chat, that's perfectly fine. As Mrs. Amendola shared, you're welcome to give us a call at the school. We're happy to talk with you about anything that was discussed tonight or any other questions you might have.
So one of the questions that came across is, do you offer morning and afternoon kindergarten?
We do. We have both the morning and the afternoon. Mrs. Amendola is the teacher for both. And in the past, we've had 3 classes. So we had 2 mornings and an afternoon with a different teacher as well. And so it really depends on our numbers. And we ask parents to put in their request for morning or afternoon, and we do our best to accommodate. But again, we keep track of sort of when people register, just so that we can go on a first come first serve basis if we say have everybody requesting the afternoon. Also, this year, we had quite a few students who also wanted the KinderCare, and the KinderCare was only offered in the morning. So we made sure that those students were able to be in our afternoon class. So we'll work with you the best that we can.
All right, there's another question, and they're asking how to register because they can't find the link on the parent portal.
Okay, so on our school website here, if you go to stmary.ecsd.net, there will be this orange button in the top right corner that says register now. And if you click that, it will bring you through, and you'll have to set up a parent account. And it's kind of a one-time thing that you have to do that, and then you'll be able to complete the form. But if you're having trouble at all, please give Judy at the office a call. She's happy to walk you through that. She knows what it looks like on the parent end, and she can answer any challenges that you might be experiencing.
All right, and there is a question, Mrs. Amendola, if you can type in the chat the name of the app that you have the students use for forming letters correctly.
Okay, well, I can't get access to my chat, Mr. Shipper, but I saw that, and oh, I don't think you can see this.
Why don't you just tell me and I'll type
Letter School.
So LETTERSCHOOL?
Yeah, Letter School, and so you can't see my iPad very good, but.
No.
Okay, Letter School. There we go, yeah.
Thank you, everyone. The next question is not a kindergarten question, but rather, what are the class sizes for grade 5? How many grade 5 classes will you have for the fall? Yeah, my son is in a school of over 1,000 kids and misses the small school feeling. He was at St. Monica before.
Yeah, so we do have a small school feeling, which is kind of nice, especially out on the playground. Most of the kids know each other. There's about 2 of every grade, except for right now we just have 1 of the grade 3s. We had quite a few of them go online this year. We don't really ever exactly know the answer to that question. Right now, our grade 4 classes, we have 2 of them, and they're sitting at around 25 per class. And our classes are ranging from 20 or like Mrs. Amendola's this year, she has 18, a small kindergarten. That's a lucky year. And everything from 18 to, it can get up to 27. I know Mrs. Shipper's grade 3 class is a large class this year of grade 3s, but we do have at times 2 teachers in there, an educational assistant. And it was just the right group of kids that we knew that they would be so amazing together. And Mrs. Shipper says, yeah, they feel like about a group of no different than a group of 25. And so it just depends on the dynamics and the grouping. So I know that doesn't answer your question the best that I can. I would have a much better idea of the class sizes in about June. So certainly you could contact me then and we could talk about what they are.
All right, thank you. The next question is, how likely is it that you would take students from outside the catchment?
So there's a few factors that we consider when we're making that decision. And in the end, Edmonton Catholic Schools wants to do what's best for the family. So if there's a reason that you need to be over here, say for childcare, that would be something that we would discuss with you and figure out. Or, if for transportation reasons, or I'm just trying to think of what other reasons might come up. But certainly we can consider that. But typically, unless the other school is full, we feel like it's best to be in your community school because the kids can play in the neighborhood with their neighborhood kids, but understanding that all families have different needs. So certainly we're here to meet those if this is a better spot for you.
Thank you. All right, so now we have a question that has to do with sort of the kinder care program at the Y and then kindergarten at St. Mary. And basically the question is asking, if you're registered in kindergarten at St. Mary, are you usually guaranteed a spot in the kinder care program, or is it completely separate?
Oh, yeah, they are completely separate, but we work together. And I know that I don't know of Beth turning anyone away. So yeah, traditionally everyone that is registered here, if they're hoping for a spot with Beth in the YMCA, they get the spot. We work together. Beth is amazing. The YMCA is incredible. Our families love it. It's a really great program. So if you're needing childcare, I highly recommend it.
All right. Do you offer music classes or choir option to the kindergarten students?
Yeah, so every year is different, but Mrs. Amendola does a lot of music in the class herself. We do have a music teacher, and it usually begins in grade 1 and then moves up through to grade 6. So for kindergarten, Mrs. Amendola does music. I don't know if you want to chime in, Mrs. Amendola.
Yeah, we do music every day. We do movement songs, and then at Christmas time, of course, we work with the music teacher to be part of the Christmas concert. So that's sort of a month there where we're working with the actual music teacher and, putting on a great production.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, the formal lessons begin in grade 1 with a music specialist.
Okay, great. When do you find out if your child is accepted?
So right now, our system is pumping through the registration forms at me, and I'm going through them. And we're just getting all the documents in place. So once all the documents are uploaded and I've been able to contact you, we have, the proof of residency and all the required documents. Basically at that point, you'll receive an acceptance. So it shouldn't be long. We're working on it.
Excellent, thank you. And do you know if the YMCA offers lunch and snacks?
Oh, you know what? I know that they do have foods at times. I think it's more of a fun day. I think the kids bring their own, but that is a question that I don't 100% know the answer to. So something we could look into for you, for sure.
I know Miss Vince, Beth has, like today she said, they were having floats, so something fun. And I think before COVID, they used to offer all the snacks, and then there were restrictions in place, and I think they're slowly getting back into snacks. But if you contact Beth, she's wonderful. She'll get back to you right away, and she honestly runs a phenomenal program. I've never seen a better YMCA daycare run than the one Beth does. It's excellent.
Yeah, and I definitely know that there are special lunches being offered from time to time because she's kind enough to offer some of the leftovers to the office staff. So it's normally on Thursdays, I believe.
Yeah.
What is the deadline to register if I live in Ramsay Heights?
So basically, before the first day of school, but the sooner the better is ideal, because you'll secure, a preference of morning or afternoon. We'll be able to get the proper communication to you well in advance. You'd have an opportunity to come visit the school in June. But certainly there isn't a rush, like you don't have to register right tonight. But, since you've attended the open house, certainly in the next coming weeks would be a good idea.
All right, and I don't see any other questions in the chat, but we could probably give a little wait time of a few more seconds. I thought I had seen some typing, but it looks like those 3 dots have gone away.
Great questions, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, someone's typing. These are great, and it's really great to share all of these answers as well. I'm new at the school, so I'm about 5 months in, and I'm learning some things here as well, which is good. I'm not always aware of the YMCA stuff, but learning along the way. Is there a staggered entry for kindergarten in the fall?
Yes, there is. It's a great opportunity. I do contact the families in June who are registered, and I give them a staggered entry date. And the staggered entry, we usually try to have 6 or 7 children come on a specific date, just so they're invited to come and see the classroom, meet myself and the teacher assistants. And we have fun activities set up for them that day, like things we know they'll be successful at, like the building blocks, doing some puzzles. So simple things just to introduce them to the routine and get to know them. So yeah, we will have that information to you in June.
Excellent, thank you. And there's someone who's wondering about if they're having problems creating their account at PowerSchool, where can we get the ID access for students? And for that one, if I can answer, I would say just call the office and speak to Mrs. Ward. She's incredible at PowerSchool. She's our resident expert, and she will walk you through anything you need. So you just let her know what you're trying to do, and she'll help walk you through that. You're welcome. And there's somebody else typing, so it looks like we have another question. Okay, just to confirm, later this spring, would it be possible to visit the school for a tour of the kindergarten class?
Yes, yes, we'd like to offer in-person tours. We've had a few new students to the school, and of course I want them to have an opportunity to come and see the building and their parents. I'm trying to schedule those outside of the school day as much as possible, though, just being aware of COVID, and if things change closer to May and June, we can revisit that. But sometime between the hours of 3 and 5, when the students aren't here, a family is welcome to join me for a school tour.
And I would also be here. I'd love to meet you and your child.
So there's a question for next year, will kinder kids wear masks?
I don't know. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't get to make any of the rules. Well, I shouldn't say any. I make quite a few, but as far as COVID is concerned, I don't make a lot of those rules, and so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We didn't know for sure if kindergartens would be wearing masks in June of last year, and then when we showed up in August, we found out that yes, it would be mandatory for them. So it's really hard for us to speculate at this point.
All right, and we had a comment. Thank you all very much. We are excited about kindergarten next year. Looking forward to it. And then how big on average are class sizes, and how big is the staff at St. Mary?
So we have almost two of every grade, except for our grade 3. And the class sizes are all different. So it really just depends on the enrollment. So, we might have 20 in a class in our grade 1s, and then we might have, like right now in grade 2, we have 26, but in grade 1, we have about 20. In kindergarten, we have 18. In our older grades, grade 6, we only have 20, but in grade 4, we have about 26. So it just really depends on the enrollment and how the numbers fall each year. So we do our best to make sure that considering the dynamics, like I mentioned, our grade 3s, we have 30 grade 3s, but knowing the students really well and programming for them, it's like having, I've had those years too, where I've had 28 that felt like 18 and I've had 22 that felt like 35. So it really just depends on the different needs of the students and how we make a decision on how we're going to group the students. But typically our class sizes have been, I would say, lower average than maybe the rest of the city, but that's never a guarantee. But we always make sure that it's an ideal situation and that all the learning needs are met. So if that's providing a larger class extra support, that is something that we would do.
And then for the second question, how big is the staff at St. Mary? I believe there's approximately 30.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of depends. We have a few part-time ones who aren't always there full-time, but I believe when it came to the Christmas cards that we wrote, there was 30.
And that's including our support staff.
And our custodial staff as well. And another comment for thank you so much. Everything sounds exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen anybody typing in a little while, so I think that could be the end of our questions for the evening. If not, please feel free to type something, or you could even unmute yourself and ask the question if you feel comfortable. Other than that, I'm going to turn it back over to Mrs. Vince.
Thanks.
Oh, someone's typing. Good night and thanks. Thank you.
So at this time, I just want to thank my team for helping me prepare. Thanks, Mrs. Amendola and Mrs. Shipper, and all of you for coming out this evening. And again, we'll have this recording posted on the website. And if you have any questions, please give us a call here at the office, and have a wonderful and blessed evening.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thanks for joining.